Good morning, all of you. I welcome you all in today's briefing for the 27th of Feb. That is the day, last trading day of the month of February 2026. So we'll start the session. My name is Anurag. I'm the Senior Client Success and Learning Manager at BMN Capital. And today we'll start the sessions and the most important news, which is playing the most catalytic role in today's market, is the US-Iran talks. So Iran is right now not ready to leave their uranium deposits and they don't want to surrender it. And because of this, we've been seeing a lot of volatile movement in Brent oil, especially, and the probability that after the Romanian government is being running the mediation between both the countries, which is US and Iran, and it's not working right now. So a lot of big institutions and the research houses have uh, given the red signals that there will be a very volatile, almost 5% of volatile movement they are expecting into the oil prices. So that is the most important news. Now let's move on to the today's economic calendar. So let me share you my screen. We'll try to understand that what are the datas which will give the direction to the market. So in the early morning, we have the news related to the inflation figure of Tokyo, which have surprised the market. They've been expecting it to cool down, but it is not cooling down, right? Especially, and this is the inflation in Tokyo, and Tokyo is the one of the most highly uh, populated city of Japan. So yes, they are facing this problem, but the good thing is that the industrial production on a month-on-month basis in Japan is increasing. And again, this is an indication that yes, economic activity is going on. So the disposable income with the Japanese people is high, and there is high chances that there will be a uh, no interest rate cut in the Japan, and as a result, we have seen lot of movement into the prices, which we discuss in the technical charts also. Apart from this, we have the foreign bond investments. So previously it was in negative, and again they are depleting right now, which is not a good sign. So Japanese economy is in a great turbulence. So for today, into my watch list, JPY pair will be there. Yesterday also we have shortlisted the JPY pair and we have cashed few good pips in odd JPY pairs, especially. Then moving on to the next section of the report. That is the data which are still pending to be released. So at 2:30 p.m. and at 2:25 p.m. we have the labor market data from Germany. So yes, it will have an impact on the DAX 40 and the other indices from the Euro group. Then we have the ECB consumer inflation expectation. So it's a sentimental data related to the inflation, and it have direct relation with the expectation of the market with whether there will be an interest rate cut or not. So we have to see this data. Then we have other datas, right, that are not that important. Market will react on this data, which is the sentimental data for the consumer inflation expectation. So previously it was 2.8% and the forecast is for 2.9%. That means yes, high probability that there will be an improvement into the inflation, which is not a good sign for the economy. Then on to the next part, if we move, then we have the foreign exchange reserve for India. So it is very important because we have seen a tremendous growth in the foreign reserve of India, which is resting around 725.73 billion. So we need to see whether they are also increasing their reserves or not, and which specific asset class they are increasing when the world is facing a very great turbulence and a issue of US and Iran. So how the Indian government is reacting. So it will give us lot of hindsights that what as a trader we need to do. Then moving ahead towards the US session. So for the Canada, we have the CFIB business barometer, which is a business climate or business sentimental data. So it have given the reading of 59. So above 50 is good. That means it's a sign of improvement. So we have to see this. So this will be the data which will bring volatility or momentum into the Canadian prices and CAC 40. That is the indices of the Canada. Then at 6:30 we have the inflation rate. So the inflation data for the Germany, yes, this will be the most important data. And if you really want to make very good profit today into the indices, especially into the DE40, so this will be the data. So at 6:30, mark this time slot into your box schedule and be attentive at this point of time, because you'll see a very good movement into the prices. Then we have the GDP growth rate on quarter basis and month on month basis for the Canada. So this will be the data which will bring new directions to the Canadian pairs. And in the last but not the least is the US. So this is the data which is going to impact the gold symmetry. We have seen that the gold prices are continuously moving sideways and they are waiting for this data, right? And this is the PPI and the core PPI data. So it will give us the inflation readings at the gate of industries, that how they are analyzing that whether the raw material prices are going to increase. If they are going to increase, then what steps they are going to take, right? What are their views, right? So this is also one of the most important data, and continuously we have this data. Then we have the construction spending data. So if the economy is performing good, whatever the Trump have said in their speech, so we need that the construction spending should increase, because people have that much disposable income, they will invest that money into the real estate. And if this is the case, if this data comes positive, so it is very, very negative for the gold. Then in the last at 11:30, we have the Baker Hughes oil rig count, right? So these are the number of extraction units which are called the rigs. So how many units are active, right? So if there is a spike or increase in the number of rig counts which are active, so that means the production is going to increase. And if there is higher production, so high probability the supply will increase in the coming future, right? And this is why this is important, because we have US Iran talks also, and we have these two figures, right? So if there will be a turbulence, so all of a sudden the prices will spike, right? And that is the right time for the oil companies to sell their oil prices, right? So if they have this idea that there will be no outcome of the US Iran talks, so what they will do, they will increase the rig counts and try to extract more oil so they can supply it, they can sell that oil at a higher prices, right? And if there is chances that there will be peace talks and everything will be, dust will settle down very fast or in the upcoming future, so there will be a sharp fall into the prices, and we'll see a decreasing figure coming out from the Baker use oil rig count, right? So this is a very important data. So that's all for the fundamental or the macroeconomic part. Now let's move on to the technical charts. So for this, let me share you my screen. So this is the screen which I'm showing you, right? And this is the gold chart. And we've been continuously watching that the gold prices are moving in a sideways range. And this is the resistance area which we have identified yesterday, which is at 5191 and 5208. So this zone is acting as a supply zone, and continuously prices are hovering near it. And whenever this kind of price behavior we see into the price action, so the probability of a upside break is quite high, right? Because lot of liquidity is being resting over here, right? And the more the level is tested, the weaker it becomes. So the chances that there will be a spike into the prices, and high probability this will happen when the PPI data is going to get released. So till the time, but yes, by looking at the current market symmetry, the market is sideways. Asian session, if I talk about, is still into the sideways, right? Our team have given the short call in gold towards the downside, and they have booked the profit, and the probability that prices might test the down level is quite high on the pages. There are still room available for the prices to test or sweep the liquidity which are resting below the previous day low, right? And the previous day low is 5130, right? So that 5130 and 5121. So this will be the area. If prices test this area and getting a rebounds before the PPI data release, that will be the time when you have to grab your mouse and click on the buy button. Okay, so this is for the gold. Now let's move on to the silver. So this is the trend line, right, of the yesterday, and this is the H1 time frame, and prices have break this trend line, taken the support. That means they have retested their trend line, and again they are heading upwards. But yes, at the starting, if I see the Tokyo session high, it has shown us the wick over here, right? Which is an indication that there is a room for a correction toward the downside. I've used the 21 EMA over here. So yes, prices might test the 21 EMA, which is resting at around 88.94, right? And right now it is trading at 89.94. So almost 100 pips of room is available for the silver. So yes, if we are very conservative and prices break the low of this candle, so we can think of taking a sell call by keeping our stop losses above the previous session's high, right? Or the current session's high. So this is the analysis for the silver, right? So and the next thing, which is the most important opportunity which will come is will be at around when the data of PPI is going to be get released. Now move on to the US oil. So this is the US oil into the H4 time frame. Intentionally, I've used a bigger time frame because we have seen lot of volatile movement. If I come into the shorter time frame, so there will be lot of noise available, right? I need a more clear picture, right? So we have seen a sudden spike into the prices, and this is the spike because there is no outcome is coming from the US and Iran talks, right? Prices have get a rebounds, then again they have taken the correction, and again the prices are showing strength toward the upside. So this is one thing. Second thing, prices have surpassed the Bollinger Band, middle band, which is an indication that yes, upside momentum is getting strength, but uh, the Bollinger Band is pointing downwards, right? Over here, I've used two indicators apart from the Bollinger Band. So one is the standard deviation of 14, and another is the CSI indicator of 14, right? So it is at the edge of the overbought area of 100. Okay. So the probability is quite high that still there is room for the upside movement, and the liquidity which is being resting above the high of this area, which is at 66.65, will be taken by the market. So yes, if you're a conservative trader, you can almost get 60 to 70 pips of movement toward the upside. And we have seen a lot of wicks are resting over here, right? So this would be the area which will act as a strong supply zone. So prices might test this area and then there will be a fall into the prices. But for this, we need two data, two information market is needed to trigger the sentiments of the trigger. One is the US Iran talks and any development related to this peace talk negotiations which is happening in the Vienna. Still there are 10-15 days of deadline have been given by the Trump to the Iran. Second thing, the oil rig count data will act a very catalytic role today, right? So yes, till the time up and then a fall I am expecting into the prices because we have seen a lot of consolidation. So to clear this area, we need a very big information or very big news to be happen, right? If we don't find any kind of episode happening at this level, so the chances of giving a breakout towards the upside is not feasible. So yes, wait for the prices and wait for the Bollinger Band to get a U-turn or get flat. Then you'll have a very volatile movement into the prices. Then moving on to the next part. So instead of taking the GBP let's take it GBP JPY. I'll take, right? So this is the GBP JPY in H4 time frame, right? So this dotted line is the start of the week and this dotted line is the end of the week. We have seen that prices have spiked up, right? Over here, right? Let me remove it. And now, whatever clear highway they have already tested it. Over here, you can see this will area is acting as a strong order block area, and because this is a order flow, this is outside vertical, so I've taken the whole range. Prices have tested this range, again came back down, sweep the liquidity which are resting below the low of this area, right? And in the same candle, prices have failed to give me the close below the low of this candle, which is an indication. And at the same time, we have a bullish engulfing pattern. So it is telling me that a correction toward the upside is into the page. Don't think of taking a sell call right now. Wait for the prices to go up, right? The next area towards the upside, which will be the next immediate resistance, is resting at this area, which is at around 21165 level, right? So yes, chances that there might be upside movement, and for the next 8 to 9 hours, right? Whatever microstructure we'll see is going to sustain into the market. If prices continue to move upwards, it is going to sustain for almost 6 to 8 hours, right? So if prices move up, and if prices successfully breaks this low and give me the close, then you don't have to think, just take a sell call, keeping your stop losses just before the recent high, and this will be your potential target area. But the chances of this is quite low, because if you mark this area, this is a rectangle pattern, and we have a break of this rectangle, right? But yes, prices might test this rectangle because the retest is still pending, and then again they get strength toward the upside, right? So this is the market symmetry which I've been expecting into the prices for the GBP JPY pair. We can see other JPY pair also. So for this, let's take the USD JPY. So on a bigger time frame, I've drawn this trend line, right? And at the same trend line, I've seen the rejection, right? But still, this candle is so strong, right? And this is the candle which belongs to the Wednesday. This is Thursday and this is Friday. So Thursday and Friday still trading into the range, right? And this is called a dark cloud cover, still trading within the shadow of the previous day candle. So this is the area which will be our decision making area. So might be possible that today will not find any good trades, right? No breakout, but yes, maybe into the upcoming week, that is the start of the March month, we have NFP data, and in the March we have the FOMC meeting also, and we can see a breakout of this zone. And that breakout will give us a very tremendous opportunity into the market, right? So don't miss it. Keep this into the watch list. Save this video for the future reference, right? And this is the zone, right? So if you see, and by combining these two trend line, I can easily identify a symmetrical triangle is being into the picture, and it is under development right now. So the probability towards the downside is quite high, right? And then after few months, right? Because this is on a daily time frame, we have a breakout, right? But yes, we can anticipate a downside move if we have a breakout of this low, and after that we can take a sell call. And if this whole thing went wrong and the alternative scenario triggers, and any news coming which is showing strength in the dollar and weakness in the JPY, then there will be a breakout towards the upside. And if this happens, then there will be a strong buy, which will take this high, right? Which is the previous uh month's high, right? Previous to previous month's high. So that will be taken. So this will be my analysis for the USD JPY pair. Now, let's talk about the next section of the report, that is the US30. So for US30, and because we have the inflation data for the Germany, so we'll take into consideration the DE40 also. So this is the Wall Street 30. We've been expecting a fall into the prices, but before giving a short side call, prices went up, swept all the liquidity which are resting above this highs, which is being marked by this upward arrow, right? So for this, I've used the fractals. It have been taken sharp fall into the prices. Then today, the prices have given a gap down. Right now, they are going up to cover the gap, right? So the probability of a expected movement is that after covering the upside gap, prices again get a rebounds, because this area will act as a strong resistance area, right? So I've been expecting for the prices to go up, and then there will be a fall into the prices, right? Now let's move on to the Germany index, right? Which is DAX 30. Now it's DAX 40. So this is into the H1 time frame. Now let's have a look on the daily time frame. Then we'll move on to the more microscopic look and try to identify that whether we are identifying any good support or resistance area from where we can grab good points into this market. So this is the daily time frame. Continuously prices are moving upwards, right? Now let's try to identify what kind of market structure human eye can identify, not my eye, but everybody's eye just by looking at the chart. So this is the swing which is being made into the market. So just by connecting these dots, right, easily I can identify that this is the trend line which is being respected by the market, but the swing is not that impressive, right? Because every time whenever they make the swing, the next swing failed to give me the close above the high, which is an indication that the upside momentum is getting weaker and a sudden fall into the prices or a quick reversal into the prices is quite high. That means today any kind of buying opportunity is dangerous, and same thing have been conveyed by the US30 also. We have seen the gap down. Right now prices are moving upwards to cover the gap, and then they will come down, right? So this is the market outcome which we have taken from the US30, and same kind of tone is being coming out from the D40 also. Now let's have a microscopic look on a H1 time frame. So this is the gap which have been covered. We have a strong outside vertical, right? So this is a sign of manipulation. So this is not the right time for the retail traders to take the entry. Wait for the prices to react, right? And the probability, because we have seen the chances of a downside reversal is quite high. Now, if we see a microscopic, more microstructure trend, right? So this is the trend which has been into the pages, and this is the trend line which is being right now being respected by by the market, and that is the reason we have seen this impulse, right? But I'm not that much confident to take a buy call, right? So I wait for the prices either to give me a close above the previous day high. If this happens and that candle is very good candle showing very good strength in the momentum, then I think of taking a buy call. But after giving the close, if the very next candle give me the close below the low of this high, right, which is at this area, right? And to be very exact, if I want to see the high, which is at 25344, right? So if prices went up and again give me a close below the low of this candle, in the very next candle, as soon as the low have been taken off that candle, I'll take a sell call, keeping my stop losses just above the previous high. And if you see the current price action also, so yes, it is showing strength, because right now the number of participants in the market is not that much, right? Although the activity, which is the tick volume activity, is quite high, but the number of participant, I don't think that they are in huge numbers. So this is not the right time for retail traders to take any positions, right? So wait for the prices. High probability that you might find a reversal into the prices, and if you're conservative at the same point, you can take the call. And otherwise, if you're not that aggressive, so wait for the prices to break this trend line. Once this trend line is broken, then you can take the sell call towards the downside. So this is for the indices. And in the last, let's have a look on the BTC USD, which is the Bitcoin. So again, the same thing, no volatile movement. Still, the market is moving sideways after breaking this trend line and still moving sideways. So in Saturday and Sunday also, we have a high probability that we'll see a sideways movement. So I've been expecting at least the test have been done, the retest have been done, right? Price have break, retested it. The probability that we might expect a sudden strong movement towards the upside from this zone, which has been identified. I've used the Fibonacci expansion over here, and this is the zone. Any candle which gave me successful close in a daily time frame above the high or the low of this zone will trigger my entries, right? For the upside, buy; for the downside, sell. So that's all for my side. I hope I've given you all the things which me and my team have identified in the Tokyo session for Friday, to give you an idea that which scripts you have to trade and in which script you will get a very good opportunity in the upcoming month of the March 2026. So stay connected. We conduct this session on a daily basis to give you the right insights and right information of the market, so you can take your trading decision very fast and at the right time. So till the time, have a great trading day ahead. Have a great weekend. This side and Rock signing off for today's session. Thank you guys for attending the session.